In the headlines, opposition leader questions motive of Roseau Central MP Joseph Isaac going independent. Prime Minister Skerrit and Joseph Isaac to discuss a framework for collaboration in the country's interest. And West Indies women captain climbs ODI rankings. I am Andrea Louis with the Channel 5 News. Back with the details after this.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, galvanized and fence pipe. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
When persons with TB sneeze or cough, healthy persons nearby breathe in the droplets and the bacteria can lodge in their lungs. People with weakened immune systems such as HIV/AIDS, alcohol and drug users, smokers, children, and the elderly are most susceptible. Persons with a cough should take precautions when in contact with persons in public places. Cover your mouth when sneezing and coughing. Visit your doctor or health center. You must complete your treatment. TB can be cured even with HIV. Be responsible. Help stop the spread of TB and HIV. Protect yourself and others.
Thank you for staying with us. First up, parliamentary opposition leader Lennox Linton has questioned the true motive of Joseph Isaac for calling it quits from the United Workers' Party camp.
The UWP leader says he did not have any prior information of Isaac's decision. He says he was hearing the Roseau Central MP's announcement for the first time on Wednesday, like everyone else, through a radio broadcast.
It was a surprise to me, somewhat shocking, somewhat hurtful as well. But as I've always said, the members of the United Workers' Party, a democratic institution formed in 1988, always have the right to change their minds, always have the right to work with their conscience, and to take decisions and to do things that the rest of us in the party may not feel is in the party's best interest. Mr. Isaac has decided to move on. It leaves us with the challenge of mending broken hearts. A lot of people are disappointed. A lot of people listened to the press conference yesterday and could not eat. And some say they didn't sleep last night. They feel so betrayed and so used and so taken advantage of. And that's understandable.
One of Isaac's stated benefits of being an independent representative in the House would be to freely speak at all times and to adopt positions on government policies consistent with his beliefs. Linton, however, says Isaac should perhaps reflect on whether there were any restrictions on him as a UWP member of Parliament.
I don't recall any time saying to any member of the National Executive of the party or the General Council or the Delegates Convention or the members of Parliament on the opposition side that they should not operate with and vote with their conscience in the Parliament. So I don't know that we had any principle or policy standing in the way of Joseph Isaac being a person of conscience and supporting whatever government legislation came before the House, which he felt was for the benefit of the people. As leader of the United Workers' Party, a principled political party that stands at all times, in all respects and all aspects for the national interest, we do not believe that any Dominican, Mr. Isaac or any other Dominican, has to or ought to be required to descend to that level of disgrace in order to eat a bread or put food on the table of their families.
You're suggesting that the express reason for Mr. Isaac leaving the United Workers' Party may not be the real reason that you think?
Well, what are the express reasons? That We are diametrically opposed to his approach, his nationalistic approach to politics.
That's correct.
But that's absolute nonsense.
Linton says the UWP's 30-year history and track record as a government from 1995 to 2000 shows it has stood for national interest in every single area where it has mattered, something which he says Isaac knows.
I want to thank him for his services. I want to thank him for the trials and tribulations that he must have endured as a member of the United Workers' Party. This party has been in opposition since 2000. That's 18 years now. And if you look at the way that the Prime Minister operates, that he will not engage with the parliamentary opposition members on matters to do with the reconstruction of the country post-Maria. And Maria happened on the 18th of September. But within hours of the announcement of Joseph Isaac that he is no longer a member of the United Workers' Party, the Prime Minister is excited and anxious to engage with him on matters affecting the Roseau Central constituency. The message out of that is, if you intend for your constituency that you represent as an opposition member to have any support or meaningful assistance from the public purse under Roosevelt's carrot, then you must change your party. You must move away from your party, you must become independent, or you must become part of his party.
In other top stories, the decision of Joseph Isaac to sever ties with the UWP and represent his constituents as an independent has drawn reaction from Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit. Mr. Skerrit says he considers Isaac's decision a red-letter day for Dominica because, as he put it, finally some in this country are coming around to the realization that a divided Dominica, especially at the national leadership level, will not progress at the pace that is required.
I note Mr. Isaac's preference at this time to sit as an independent member in Parliament. This is significant. The government, which I have the honor to lead, welcomes this magnanimous gesture, and I intend, as the leader of the government, to request a meeting with Mr. Isaac at the earliest convenience to discuss and determine a framework by which we can work together in the interest of Dominica and to the benefit of the constituents of Roseau Central. I reserve further comment on this matter until such time as I have had that meeting.
The Prime Minister says he is heartened by the tone and tenor of Isaac's intervention, which he believes was given much thought.
His utterances in recent weeks, though reasoned and responsible, would no doubt have offended those in his party, who would rather that the proverbial political dagger be always drawn in pursuit of party supremacy.
The Prime Minister says this decision by the Roseau Central MP comes at an interesting time in Dominica's post-hurricane recovery efforts. He says 6.5 months is a perfect time to stop and assess progress made as well and make adjustments to ensure that we expedite recovery efforts, particularly as they relate to individuals still vulnerable to the elements. The Prime Minister says he plans to address the nation on this and related matters in the days ahead. On to matters of tourism, the biggest tourist attraction in the Kalinago territory is getting an over $300,000 facelift in the aftermath of Hurricane Maria. The Kalinago Barana Ote in the community of Salibia is a model Kalinago village which showcases the lifestyle and customs of Dominica's indigenous people. The site was not spared by Hurricane Maria as it too was badly affected by the storm. Minister with responsibility for Kalinago affairs, Cassius Daru, says there were already plans underway to refurbish the site before the hurricane struck.
The Kalinago Barana Ote really is the main artery in terms of the tourism product that we present. Prior to Maria, we had some situations with the structures in terms of doing some repairs. But Maria has caused us to move even faster. And I believe that we are spending pretty close to $300,000 on Barana Ote for the recovering of the Kabi.
Daru is hopeful that in short time work will be completed to ensure the return of a steady tourist dollar to the Kainago territory.
At the Barana Oti, and we know the impact of what tourism is in the Kainago territory, from the craft weaver to those who are from the cultural groups where they do their performances. The tourist dollar is being spread throughout the Kainago territory. And the Barana Oti, like I said, is the main artery. So we are doing all we can to ensure that the Barana Oti becomes one of the premier products that we present to the tourists.
Daru is hopeful that in short time work will be completed to ensure the return of a steady tourist dollar to the Kainago territory. Daru, who is also the Member of Parliament for the Salibe constituency, says greater promotion of the Barana Ote is on the cards to increase revenue generated from the facility.
What I want to see for the Barana Ote is to see greater promotion for Barana Ote. Because one of those things that the bus drivers are complaining is the steepness to Barana Ote. And we need to do additional works and do some landscaping and do some more marketing so that the people can be aware of the type of product that we have in Barana Ote. Barana Ote is supposed to be the cultural village, but sometimes there are many aspects of it that is not too cultural. For example, the food. That's one that we may have to work on. The presentation of the individuals who does the tour guiding. The different activities that would be ongoing in a traditional Kainago setting. So all those things we are looking at to see how we represent Barana Ote, or re-represent Barana Ote.
Though the Barana Ote is damaged, Daru says people still visit the site, but in smaller numbers. Building better and in a more resilient way. The focus of a training symposium at the Goodwill Parish Hall on Thursday. The symposium was jointly organized by Jar Sales and Services Limited, SCL, and Simpson Strong-Tie, a world leader in the construction industry. A representative of Simpson Strong-Tie facilitated the symposium, which brought together homeowners, architects, engineers, contractors, and builders.
Had a lot of questions on what can we do differently than we've done in the past. You know, they would point out, hey, years ago, some really old homes, very well constructed, versus the change in construction methods, and we got away from some of the older methods. So now what can we do better with these newer construction materials and things of that sort? And so we've had a lot of good questions, we've started a lot of good conversations, and we're about to spend time walking through these connections step by step to how to build better today.
Organizers say homeowners would find this symposium useful.
And it's good for them to learn and understand, because when you build, everything has a price. And so building stronger does cost a little bit more. So it's important for them when a builder or someone is telling them, hey, you need to do this to be stronger, that they're getting an understanding of what we're actually trying to do. At the end of the day, the Simpson Strong-Tie company is just about helping people build better, safer, stronger structures. And we play a part of that, as do many other products and construction practices. But at the end of the day, if we can walk away and everyone has an understanding that you can build better, that's the goal today.
The training symposium seemed to have been well received.
They said that we should build stronger and better, and anything that needs to be done stronger and better, you know, I want to be a part of that. Since after Maria.
So how do you see that changing your methods, the way you build, especially roofs and so on?
Well, it's, as I said earlier on, it's very good. You learn different techniques and skills, yeah, based on what they're teaching. So, yeah, it's very good.
Oh, that is extremely appropriate indeed, you know. And as several likes to repeat, a building is as strong as its weakest connection, and this is all about connections, connectors. Very, very appropriate.
You are watching the Channel 5 News. Another appeal for the adherence to building codes. That and more after the break.
Do you need more cash for that home improvement? Then come to Fast Cash, where we give you more. At Fast Cash, our customers get more funds and more time to repay. But wait, can't come to us? We'll come to you, and our mobile officer will get you on your way. Small businesses, consumers, and taxi owners. Fast Cash has more for everyone. Simply call or visit any of our locations for more. Smarter, faster, better. Fast Cash. Terms and conditions apply.
M&J Covering is the producer of designed galvanized and galvalume in Dominica. They design to your specifications, color and length, 4 styles of galvanized and galvalume pre-painted roofing sheets as requested, and supply all your galvalume accessories. M&J Covering helps you control spending and reduce waste. At M&J Covering, they are also equipped to build your roof to precise standards anywhere on island. So come to M&J Covering at 1 Mile in Portsmouth or call 445-5001 275-5003 today.
Welcome back. A stakeholder platform to guide the way forward for the coffee industry is currently being developed. Director of Agriculture Ricky Brumont told Channel 5 News that some prior initiatives to grow the industry were affected by Maria and new plans are underway.
Our intention is to ensure from germplasm to the cup, and things are done properly for resilient results. Our intention is to have what we call a stakeholder platform or a grouping that will guide the actions in coffee, which will be made certainly out of government and private sector, farmers, processors, coffee lovers, that sort of thing. So it will be an inclusive process.
Brumont says one of the aims is to import coffee plants so that farmers can realize a healthy and plentiful crop in a shorter space of time.
We're at present actually putting these things in place that we can speed up that process for farmers and give them at least 18 to 24 months lead time. If we were to propagate, it would take anywhere from 12 to 24 months, looking at the different crops. So being able to bring in these plants ready to plant once the disease protocols are worked out and pest protocols are worked out, pest risk analysis is done, then we will put plants onto the landscape quicker than people may think.
As regards the coffee processing plant at 1 Mile in Portsmouth, the Director of Agriculture says this piece of infrastructure will be used to develop Dominica's coffee industry.
The intention behind the coffee plant was to import coffee to process. I will tell you, based on my experience in Costa Rica and Central America, there's a good coffee. Different varieties, grown at the right elevations, with the right ecology. There's good coffee. So I would not fear the quality that we get from these countries to process. On the other end, we have coffee producers who may very well want to pursue a niche market experience tied to agroforestry, tied to agrotourism, and so on. So we would build that linkage. And try to develop that experience that Central America and Jamaica has. Try to brand a coffee that is very Dominican in its origin.
Currently, there are 200 coffee farmers on island. Brumont explained that most of the coffee being produced is for local consumption. A coalition of opposition parties will not happen anytime soon, at least not for the 2020 general elections. A coalition is nothing new to the country's political landscape, dating back to the 2000 general elections when the Freedom Party, under Charles Savre at the time, formed a coalition with the Labour Party after its victory at the polls. In this current political climate, neither UWP leader Lennox Linton nor DFP leader Kent Vital is interested in that concept. Vital says nothing has changed about the DFP's ambitions to restructure itself in its unique way.
We have been talking on our radio program, we have been presenting our ideas, we have been taking a particular approach, And we have been presenting new voices, and we have started to do that on our radio program. And we have started to go out to the communities, to the people. We have started to form our constituency groups, and we will continue to do that. The Freedom Party thinks that the people are responding nicely. We think that we hear from many people who encourage us to keep doing what we're doing, and we are going to continue along that route. Again, it's a democracy, and we think we have something to offer. We think we have an approach that is valued. We think we have a great message to deliver to the people. We don't want this to be diluted. We want the people to have all of it, and as it stands, that's what we're doing. That's what we'll continue to do as far as we have discussed in our party.
And the chairman of the Reunion Committee is adding his voice to the growing call for Dominicans to adhere to the recommended building codes in the wake of Hurricane Maria. Dominica is celebrating its 40th anniversary of independence this year after being battered by the Category 5 Hurricane Maria last year. Former opponent representative to the OAS and the chairman of the Reunion Committee, Hubert Charles, says Dominica's Build Back Better efforts will be incorporated in the celebration of Reunion Year 2018.
We have decided also that we would serve as a mouthpiece for calling attention to the citizens on the need to pay attention to the new, I almost said new building codes, but the building codes have been in place for a little while, but to the importance of adhering to those building codes, to the importance of communities and individuals buying in to the whole message of resilience, which means that if you have had your house fairly close to a river, you really need to be part and parcel of the solution, and to consider the disadvantages and challenges that ultimately accrue to government for your decision to build so close to the river. So a public relations exercise.
Charles is urging the business community to get on board with the Building Back Better campaign.
We will outreach to the business community to make sure that the business community takes advantage of the opportunity to reconsider strategies to build back better, not just the building, but to build strong firms, to provide an opportunity and support for the emergent firms.
This is the Channel 5 News. Stay tuned for your sports highlights with Kenny Williams.
First up, one local sporting head believes women's football could begin to show signs of improvement like that of the men's soon. Responding to a question on the current state of women's football in Dominica, national coach Rajesh Lachu says it won't be long before they start producing more favorable results. Like the men, the quality of women's football had not been the best over the years, but Lachu insists they have what it takes to perform well. The women have been in training with the national coach since the beginning of March.
I must compliment the players. They are working very hard. We actually have 2 tournaments coming up back-to-back. So in April is the CFU Challenge Series, which is just a group of play. So it provides opportunities for us for games. And then we have in May the World Cup qualifiers. So the April tournament in St. Kitts would help us prepare. And guess which group we're in? We're in Trinidad. In Trinidad, USVI, Grenada.
Lachu revealed some details of his plan that he says could bring the much-needed change in women's football.
The DFA has a national coach education program where now, so my responsibility is also to groom the coaches so that when they know what eventually over time they would be running, so they would understand what is certain protocols, what is certain principles, how we prepare the team, and so far they are doing good.
On the cricket scene, Windies women captain Stephanie Taylor recently climbed the rankings to place 5th on the all-time women's scorers list in one-day internationals. Taylor displayed a typical modesty on handling the news and said she is humbled by it. The skipper stressed that as captain, she was always focused on team achievements before individual accolades. Taylor is hoping that her achievements can inspire the younger generation of cricketers in the Caribbean to pursue their dreams. Taylor moved up the record books to 5th place in the all-time top women scorers in ODI cricket during the recent ODI series against New Zealand.
When I actually saw it came through on the WhatsApp, I was wondering what is it, everyone is congratulating me. But yeah, it's a huge achievement for any individual, and I'm very elated to be amongst top female players. So I'm very much happy about that. I do think I'm one of those persons who inspire, and I hope to continue doing so. When I was growing up, it wasn't that easy for a female to play, and I continue playing because I love the sport. So I always believe that if you love the sport and you want to give it a try, no matter the situation or the circumstances, you just go out there and play if you're passionate about it.
The list is still topped by Mithali Raj of India with 6,295 runs. Taylor is also in second place in women's T20 with 2,582 runs, just 24 runs short of becoming the all-time leading scorer in women's T20 cricket. Charlotte Edwards of England, now retired, holds the top spot at 2,605. Meantime, Yawani Regis and Neo Davis put on a convincing display of cricket to help their team defeat Jamaica by 6 wickets in the regional under-15 competition on Wednesday. Jamaica batted first and was bowled out for 164 in 46 overs. Neo Davis and Gangadine snatched 4 wickets each. Set 165 for victory, Windward scored 169 for the loss of 7 wickets. Yawani Regis smashed a half-century to finish on 54. Akeem Ogis further propped the score with 41. Stefan Pascal and Neo Davis were out for duck. Despite their victory against Jamaica, Barbados finished the tournament on top when they defeated Guyana by 4 wickets. Chasing 207 for victory, Barbados reached the target with 14 balls to spare, making the team back-to-back champions. Next up, the sport of fencing remained active during the Easter break and held its first tournament for the year. Dubbed DMFA Easter Tournament, the event held at the St. Mary's Academy grounds featured competition in youth mixed, cadet and senior women, as well as cadet, senior and junior male categories. Let's take a look at some highlights from the competition. The Dominica Fencing Association, which became active back in 2014, currently has a membership in excess of 30 athletes. Finally, action continued in the Guineas forehand domino competition with teams finishing on top in their respective zones recently. In Group A, Dolphins scored 1,116 points, more than Tremors, while Remix went on to beat Giants. Swansea was most impressive in Zone B to finish with 820 points ahead of Strikers. Rebels also went past Lindomat Homeboys in that zone. Taking a look at results from Group C, we can tell you that Warriors scored 3,018 points against non-players 2,646. Baghdad had a good day in their encounter with Strikers to take a 562-point lead. Furkers had similar winning fortunes in their match against La Plaine. Moving on to Zone D, where enemies defeated Valiants by 82 points in the only match played in that group. Finally, in results from Zone E, Wake Up Stars went past one case, Rockers bested Itasi, and Roadblock got the better of Stars. That's all the sporting highlights for now. I am Kenny Williams. Join us next time.
To end the news, the headlines again. Opposition leader questions motive of Roseau Central MP Joseph Isaac going independent. Prime Minister Skerrit and Joseph Isaac to discuss framework for collaboration in the country's interest. And West Indies women captain climbs ODI rankings. Feel free to contact us at news@marpin2k4.com. You can also access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Andrea Louis, and to all of our viewers around the world, thank you so much for watching. Join us tomorrow.